YouTubers. Just wanted to do a quick video on biological warfare, the very real threat. And here's what I wanted to talk about. First, I did the Ebola. I'm not too concerned about Ebola. Neither are most people. Ebola is containable because of the way it spreads. However, there are other diseases that spread a lot more frantically than that, and they are available. But the point that I wanted to make on this video is we are extremely vulnerable, as you can tell the way our hospitals and CDCs have handled Ebola. We are extremely available to a biological attack of some kind. And think about this. This is a scenario that I've been thinking of, and why I'm a real prepper, and why I don't mess around and am prepared. Because we have pissed off so many factions around the world, and right now we're poking the bear, Russia. And their biological vault is just as big as an extensive vault as ours is over here for biological weapons and disease study and so forth. And you got to think about it this way. We're putting pressure on Russia now to the point when oil's at $80 a barrel, it's been shown that Putin is in deep, deep trouble economically. So looking at that, also they're talking about exporting natural gas over to Europe, which then puts downward pressure on natural gas prices with Putin, further dismantling that economy. So basically we are poking the bear on a level that is not safe or sane, I believe, for any of us or anybody in the world, really. Not a good idea. At the same time, we're pissing off a group of psychotics called ISIL, who is going to make a final last stand and a backlash. There will be an attack of some kind, just like Osama bin Laden did with the the planes and the towers and so forth. When they can't win a war, they will do something catastrophic to hurt us in some way, in a way that they can. And I want you to think about this scenario. Imagine if this Ebola case, if 100 people were flown into 100 different locations around the United States, all with visas, not showing any signs of illness, because the incubation period of Ebola, once exposed, is 5 to 10 days before you start showing signs. As we all know this, these people are arriving in the United States asymptomatic. In other words, they will get past the screenings at the airports, and then they will get to their destinations. They will be able to walk amongst us, do their business, as these people have as well. Now, Ebola isn't that big of a transmittable disease, okay, because of the way it transmits. Some say it's airborne, some don't. I believe that if someone coughs or sneezes, yes, you can probably get Ebola if it gets to your mouth or eyes or whatever. But here's the point of it all. Imagine if 100 people were flown in from different locations around the world after being exposed and got visas and took off from different countries and landed in the United States on 50 different flights or 100 different flights and went to 100 different locations. Now imagine what would have happened. And Ebola, remember, is relatively easy to contain, all right? So compared to a lot of diseases. For instance, like I've mentioned, enterovirus, how quickly that spread, okay? And the problems it has been causing. So, within 3 weeks, it started in the Midwest and was in Maine within 3 weeks. Now, that's a disease that takes off and spreads, okay? So, think of it that level, and we're poking the bear now. So that's why I'm a prepper and why I take this very seriously. We are pissing off the wrong people around the world. And, if you were someone with that kind of power, you might get pissed that you're getting devastated, right? And you might allow, say, a break-in to take place in one of your vaults, or the Russian centers for disease control, things of that nature, right? Their military weapons supply depots. Or maybe they'll just say that someone sold it for profit, right? A break-in, if you will. These are happening all the time. And remember, I think 8 of our major banks and brokerages were hacked, and a signature was left in place to show them they were in there, and nothing was done, okay? They just wanted to show, look, we can do this. So, and that was traced right back to the Russians. So my point being, if they can drop off a little computer virus, right, and poke us and basically get us worried, what else can they do? But it's more along the lines of, my scenario is that ISIS-ICEL will be the vector. In other words, the virus or disease may come out of Russia, but the vector will be ISIS-ICEL. These people believe in what they're doing. They will strap bombs to themselves. So it'd be quite easy to get 100 of them infected with a disease and get them some visas and fly them in on, 50 or 100 different flights. And there you go. You have a biological bomb, an explosion. And that's why I am a serious prepper. Now, I take everything one day at a time because, we have to. We don't know what's going to happen, and we don't know what tomorrow holds. So I live one day at a time. I try and be as happy, joyous, and free as I can. And, but being prepared is my lifestyle. And, like I say, I use the masks for working around the house, different projects. I use the gloves in painting projects or working with chemicals. None of this stuff goes to waste. So I don't think prepping in any way, shape, or form, when you look at it from these perspectives, realist perspectives, are in any way, shape, or form a waste. But anyway, I just wanted to put that out there. And imagine if the disease hits, boom, and even if our vaults do have a copy and an immunization, but it's not in production. It takes a while to ramp up the production and get this stuff going, but then you yourself, during a time of plague, virus, whatever, are going to have to go to a public location to receive an immunization. Now think about that. So you're going to have to expose yourself to the disease anyway, possibly. So how many people are actually going to go get it? How fast will it sweep? So on and so forth. But these are scenarios to really think about when we talk about the probability of biological meltdown of society. And I really believe that that potential is there. And that's why I've been a prepper. That's the number one reason right there, other than economic collapse, which our threat was in '07 when I started my whole prepper journey. And now we've got, we're pissing off so many different factions around the world. I don't think people are rationally looking at this, what the potential is. These people will strap bombs on. So come on, man. You don't think they'll become a biological weapon? Pay us back? Hell, they're going to die anyway. We're over there bombing them, exterminating them, overpowering them. We put them in, the backs against the wall, and this is what happens. And it's probably going to happen. I mean, these people are not sane. They're not. And they really don't like us. There are some who say in these factions, they call us the Satan, the great Satan. You know what I mean? So think about this, and that's just one of my scenarios, and that's why I work on the plague causing economic collapse, and that being the SHTF scenario that I prepare for. Of course, there are many others and many other scenarios, but also remember too, when all this goes down, they're going to quarantine whatever states or whatever it hits at, and they're not going to allow interstate transfer. They're going to try and contain the disease. As I've discussed before, your military, your civil authorities, all of them are being trained to contain populations, as you can see. Look what's happening. Look what happened in the last few disasters we've had and civil unrest situations. Your civil authorities came in and they put their foot down, didn't they? And they became population control entities, not there to help, okay? So I just wanted to share that. I couldn't put it in the other video. I wanted to make that more light and easy, just talking about the fact that I don't think Ebola is that big of a threat. Of course it would be. It would be totally different if 100 different hospitals had this problem. You see how one hospital that already had a meeting a week before the guy landed on Ebola, they screwed up a couple of times. Imagine if they had landed in 100 different places, okay? Now think about that. And we're people with an agenda. But anyway, that's why I think that's the most real threat to us right now. And hey, experience strength and hope. Don't panic, one day at a time. Enjoy it the best you can. I just wanted to present that scenario. Jim out.